What can you tell me about the Sázavou blacksmiths?
There's too many of us, I'll tell you that for free. This is only a small town. There's Zach, who has a forge in the craftsman's yard and mostly works on the construction of the church. And then, apart from me, there's Master Armourer Otto of Ramstein.
Tell me more about Zach.
Don't have much time for him myself. He knows his craft, no question. But he seems to think his son, Vitus, will be a master armourer in Prague one day.
My father was a blacksmith, and I expect he thought much the same about me. That's how fathers are, isn't it?
Of course, any man should be proud of his boy. But Zach makes pride a sin. That's why he's at loggerheads with Master Otto.
Can you tell me something about Master Otto?
Well now, there's a master to look up to. He's worked for the lords of Kunstadt and for the richest townsfolk of Prague.
If you don't mind my asking, what brings him here?
The same as draws all reasonable people. He's enjoying the peace and quiet. Or rather, he used to enjoy some peace. That dispute with Zach must have put a few more wrinkles on his brow.
What are Zach and Master Otto arguing about?
Zach had his boy Vitus trained as an armourer in Kuttenberg, and he wanted to buy out Otto's place for him. Except that Otto's a proud man. How would it have looked? A master armourer giving way to a young whippersnapper who's barely let go of his mother's skirts? And they've been arguing ever since. Well, Zach mostly. He badmouths Otto every chance he gets. He claims that he's only fit for mending pots and that his son will see him off.
What are Zach and Master Otto arguing about?
Zach had his boy Vitus trained as an armourer in Kuttenberg, and he wanted to accept that Otto's a proud man. How would it have looked? And they've been...
That will be all. Do you ever work with copper here?
No, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Zach from the monastery craftsman's yard has bought out all the copper. Oh well.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Have a look at these cucumbers. They'll stay firm all winter. Fight before someone else does.
Good God, you look terrible.
What can you tell me about the blacksmiths here in Sázava?
Depends which ones you mean. In the town there's Mikesh. He's a decent man and an honest craftsman. And in the yard by the monastery there's Zach. There's not many good words I can say about him.
Tell me something about Mikesh.
Like I said, he's an honest craftsman, which isn't something you can say about every blacksmith in town.
What about the monastery blacksmith, Zach?
Well, him and me don't exactly see eye to eye. He wanted to buy my business, but I turned him down. Ever since then, he hasn't had a good word to say about me.
That will be all. Thank you. Do you make anything out of copper, Master?
I do a bit of Damascene decor sometimes. Why do you ask?
I'm looking for someone who could do me some copper sheets.
Well, that's pretty rough and ready work. I wouldn't waste my time with it. But go and ask Zach from the craftsman's yard by the monastery. He's bought up all the copper to be had around here anyway.
Master Blacksmith, I've got a great offer for you.
Not now. First I've got to deal with that.
Can you show me?
Certainly.
I want to achieve...
You can't become a master.
Well,
Goodbye.
God save... God be with you. Yeah. Yeah.
So back to that copper, Master Blacksmith.
What? I thought I told you I don't work with copper.
That's not what I heard.
What?
I was told in town that you bought all the other blacksmith's copper.
I'm being made a fool of yet again, it seems. Anything else? I still have work to do.
I'd like to make you an offer. Have you heard about Pribyslavitz?
Don't bother me now, young fella. I've got that sneaky fucker Otter to deal with.
So back to that copper, Master Blacksmith.
What?
That's not what I heard.
What?
I was told in town that you bought...
I'm being made a fool of. Anything else? I still have work to do.
The swordsmith from the town said he was...
I know he's after those, but he's out of luck. You should have bought it while he had the chance. I still have mine.
Not even...
Not even for a king's... Goodbye.
Your father says you don't work any copper.
We don't.
I've heard differently around town. They say your father's bought up all the copper to be had.
Are you calling me a liar? Or my father? You're asking for it, boy.
Just be sure you know what you're letting yourself in for.
Was that a threat? Do you think I'm an idiot?
You don't get it, do you? I don't particularly want to fight with you. I don't have the time or the need to prove anything. So I'll just take my knife and stick it between your ribs. And then I'll keep twisting until you tell me the truth.
So show me what you're made of. See you later.
Ah!
You're dead! I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
So what do you have to tell me?
You're right. We do make copper sheets here at night.
So why all the secrecy about it?
Father forbade me to talk about it. I don't know why, I didn't ask.
Who buys those sheets from you?
I don't know. I've never set eyes on him. Father doesn't like to talk about it.
Your father has some serious explaining to do.
Jesus, please don't hurt him.
We'll see about that. Take care now.
God bless.
So back to that copper.
What?
Your son put it quite differently.
What's that? What are you blabbering on about?
For a blacksmith, son, he's not all that tough, is he? Did they threaten you?
They didn't have to. Just by the look of them, I could say I needed to shut my mouth and do what they wanted.
And did they ever tell you who they were? Do you know where to find them?
I know a little. But show some understanding. There's nothing but trouble in it for me. I'll lose the work and be left looking over my shoulder for some thugs to come and burn down my house. Or worse.
If you lie down with dogs, you shouldn't complain about the fleas.
There's no need for threats. We can both benefit here. If I tell you everything I know, you can help me with a certain small matter. One that'll cover up for my loss of earnings.
So what are we talking about?
I recently tried to buy Master Armourer Otto Rabstein's business for my son Vitus, but that old fool wouldn't listen to reason. He said he couldn't understand his legacy being taken over by a clod like my Vitus. Despite the insult, I doubled my offer, but Master Otto still wouldn't budge.
And what is it you need from me?
I thought I'd show Otto that Vitus isn't such a dolt as he thinks, but for that I need someone experienced in combat.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad.
What's your plan?
Otto's busy making a very pretty suit of armor for the bailiff. So I was thinking, if we could show that pretty armor of his is absolutely useless, he'd be disgraced.
And how am I supposed to see to that?
Well, I'd reckon we'd arrange a duel of champions with bludgeons. You'll put on Vitus's armor, and Otto will send his champion in that tin shit of his. You invite the bailiff to watch, and Otto will be made a laughingstock in front of everyone.
And what do I get out of it?
What we already agreed. I'll give up dealing in copper, and I'll tell you everything I know about what's been going on.
Do you really think that will work?
Otto's always mouthing off in the alehouse that my young lad isn't worth a damn. Once I show he's just a bitter old bastard spouting hot air, his business will be ruined, and Vitus will reap the reward. What with all the strife in the country these days, there'll be no end of work for a good armourer.
But what if I lose?
Nonsense. How could you? Vitus's armour is light as an eggshell and hard as a rock.
How about if the armour for the bailiff mysteriously went missing?
Jesus Christ. Don't even talk about it. Although, if Otto doesn't agree to the duel, it might be the only option.
Exactly. And if you want to wreck Otto's reputation, not keeping his promise to the bailiff could be even worse for him than your idea.
You're right. Do whatever you think fit then. But if the armour gets lost, don't come to me afterwards. I know nothing about it, right?
Of course.
See you later.